In this video, we are going to be solving this exponential equation, which is 7 raised to power t plus 7 raised to power 2t plus 7 raised to power 3t is equal to 14. Now, look at what I'm going to do here. This is 7 raised to power t. Can I sort of bring out 7 raised to power t here and here 7 raised to power t? Yes, I can do that. So why not just do that? So this is going to be 7 raised to power t plus 7 raised to power t. I can write it like this because when you multiply t and 2, you get 2t. That is one of the laws of indices. So here, I'm going to do 7 raised to power t. You guessed right, raised to power 3. And this is equal to what? 14. To make this equation simpler, I can simply say let y be equal to 7 raised to power of t, just to make it simpler. Now, if y is equal to 7 raised to power t, if I come here, I'm going to just write y because we just said let y be equal to 7 raised to power of t plus, what about this one? Y squared. And what about this? Y raised to the power of 3. This is equal to what? 14. Good. So we have a cubic equation. Let me just rewrite this in order of their powers. So y cubed plus y squared plus y is equal to what? 14. Now, how do we get one of the factors of this cubic equation? So first thing first, let me move 14 to the left hand side. You can choose not to move 14 over from the way I'm going to be solving this or testing it out. Now, what we can do is to say let y be equal to plus or minus 1. We can do that test. Or we say let y be equal to plus or minus 2. If we test it into this cubic equation, we must get 0. What we have on the left hand side must be the same thing as what we have on the right hand side. So let's start with 1. So if you put 1 into this equation, let's see if it will give us 0. So 1 cubed plus 1 squared plus 1 minus 14. Obviously, this will not give us 0. Looking at it, 1 cubed is 1 plus 1 plus, you see, this will not give us 14. I mean, this will not give us 0. So let's take that out. Even if you do for minus 1, we will still not have 0. Let's just go straight to testing out 2. So let's use 2. 2 cubed plus 2 squared plus 2 minus 14. What is 2 cubed? That is 8. What is 2 squared? That is what? 4. And then plus 2 minus 14. Okay, we are going to see if this will give us 0. So let's test it out. What is 8 plus 4? That's 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 minus 14 is what? 0. So yes, 2 is one of the solutions of the cubic equation. Now, if y is equal to 2 is one of the solutions, so this is a solution, then what does this mean? You have to move 2 to the left hand side, so it means that y minus 2 is a factor of the cubic expression on the left. Now, for us to get the other factor, I am going to do the long division where we divide polynomials. So what am I going to put inside here is going to be the cubic expression. Let's go back up. What do we have? So we're going to use this right here, y cubed plus y squared plus y minus 14. Let's go do it now. Y cubed plus y squared plus y minus 14. Remember, we've gotten one factor. What was the factor we got? See it here? Y minus 2 is a factor. So y minus 2. We want to get the other factor. So let's divide. DMS is what we are going to use. D would be division, M would be multiplication, S would be subtraction. So you divide, you multiply, you subtract. That is going to be the cycle we're going to be using. So let's divide. Y into y cubed will give you what? Y squared. So you are going to take this y squared to multiply y and negative 2 and just put it under here. And then you subtract. So what is y squared times y? That's y cubed. Write it under. What is y squared times minus 2? That's what? Minus 2y squared. So the next thing is to what? Subtract. So let's subtract. Y cubed minus y cubed is what? 0. So there's 0 here. Y squared minus 2y squared. Please be careful with this. Y squared minus negative 2y squared is going to be what? Y squared minus minus plus And then when you add those two, you get what? 3y squared. So plus 3y squared. Okay. We can choose to bring down the y here. So plus y. Okay. And then the minus 14 here. So let's divide now. So y into 3y squared is what? Plus 3y. Use this 3y to multiply y and negative 2. And like I said before, put it under what we have here. So let's do it right now. 3y times y is what? 3y squared. Write it under here. And then 3y times minus 2 is what? Minus 6y. So let's subtract again following DMS. 3y squared minus 3y squared is 0. Y minus 6y will be what? 7y. So plus 7y. You can bring down minus 14 again. So let's now divide. What's y into 7y? That's what? 7. So plus 7. Now use 7 to multiply y and negative 2. So 7 times y is what? 7y. Let's write it here. 7y. And what is 7 times minus 2? That's what? Minus 14. So we'll bring it down here and then we subtract. So they are the same. 7y minus 14, 7y minus 14. If you subtract, you get 0, 0. Okay. So it means that this is a factor because we have 0 in the end. So y squared plus 3y plus 7. Y squared plus 3y plus 7. Okay. And the other factor that we got before is what? Y minus 2. So y minus 2. Of course, these two, they are all equal to what? The product of these two is equal to 0. So from the 0 product rule, we know that y minus 2 is equal to 0. Of course, we know that already. Or this one here is equal to what? 0. So, but we want to test the nature of root that this will produce. We already know that this is what? 2 from what we got before. Y is equal to 2 here. But what about this? What type of root will this give us? If it is a complex root, there's no point. We'll just reject it and stick to this one here. Okay, so let's test this one, the nature of root. If you want to test the nature of root, we're going to use b squared minus 4ac. If this is equal to 0, then it is equal root, which is also a real root. But if it is greater than 0, it is real root. The only time it's going to be complex or imaginary is if it is less than 0. So let's compare this with the general form of a quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, the coefficient of y squared would be a. So here, if you compare, a is 1, b is what? 3, if you do the comparison, and c, which is the constant term, is what? 7. So let's plug everything here. B is 3, mind you. So 3 squared minus 4 times 4ac is 4 times a times c. A is 1 and c is what? C is 7. Okay. So what is 3 squared? That is 9. Then minus 4 times 1 times 7 is what? 28. So we see that this is less than 0. And we will have to reject it because it's going to give us an imaginary root. So we'll just reject it and stick to this one here. Y minus 2 is equal to 0. So y minus 2 is equal to 0, meaning that y is equal to 2. But we're not looking for y, we're looking for what? T. So I'm going to say recall. Remember we said let y be equal to what? 7 raised to the power of t. Okay. So if y is equal to 2, I'm going to put 2 here, which is equal to 7 raised to the power of t. Okay, I can also rewrite it like this. 7 raised to the power of t is equal to 2. Now, if I only need to get the value of t, it has to be dropped down, and we can do that by applying log to base 10 to both sides. So log to base 10 of 7 raised to the power of t is equal to log 2. Okay. And from one of the laws of logarithm, this t will become the coefficient of the logarithm. So it's going to be what? T log 7 is equal to log 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by log 7. Divide this by log 7 because we need to get the value of t. So this cancels this. and t is equal to log 2 over what? Log 7. Now, I hope you know that it has a base of 10, even though we can choose not to write it. But we can decide to compress this a little more using change of base rule. If you have been following this channel lately, you will realize that I've talked about how to do change of base in logarithm. If you have, say, log a base b, and you want to change this base from b to maybe to something else, say c, it will now become log a base c, then over log this base will become the new argument, then still the new base c. So this is how you carry out change of base in logarithm. And basically what I'm going to do here, because see, this and this are of the same form if you check closely. So I want to transfer it from this form to this form. So how do I do that? I'm going to write t will now be equal to what? Log what? 2, all right, then base 7. Of course, you can still move it from here to here using change of base rule, as I've shown you here. Yeah, so basically the value of t is equal to log 2 base 7, or you can just see log 2 over log 7. I hope this makes sense. So we want to do some tests. I want us to verify our answer if truly that t is equal to log 2 to base 7. Remember, the equation again is what? 7 raised to the power of t plus 7 raised to the power of 2t plus 7 raised to the power of 3t. We want to see if this will give us what? 14. Okay. Now remember, now t is equal to log 2 base 7. So I'm going to plug it that here, log 2 base 7, then plus 7 raised to the power of what? 2 log 2 base 7, then plus what? 7 raised to the power of 3 log 2 base 7. Okay, I want to see if this will give us what? 14. Now moving on, before I simplify this further, I want to use one of the laws of logarithm where I have to move this 2 here and move this 3 here. Of course, you can do that if you are familiar with the laws of logarithms, you can do that. So that would be 7 log 2 base 7 plus 7 log, now watch this, now this 2 become the power of the argument. So you are going to have 2 raised to the power 2 base 7. So this is now the new argument, okay? 2 raised to the power 2. So plus 7 raised to the power of log 2 raised to the power 3 base 7, right? And then we want to see if this will give us 14. Now, if you know this law of logarithm, again, I've talked about this so much on this channel. You know that if you have a raised to the power of log maybe y base a, because this logarithm has a base of a and it matches with this general base of a here, you can just strike it out like this, leaving you with what? Y. Yes, so that's exactly what we're going to do to simplify all of this. Now watch this. I am going to do this. This is log 7, you strike it out with this. Log 7, you strike it out with this. Log 7, log base 7 rather, you strike it out with 7. So you are going to have 2 just left. So you have 2 plus, this is 2 squared, which is 4. And this is 2 raised to the power 3, which is what? 8. What is 2 plus 4? That's 6. And 6 plus 8 is 14. So yes, we got 14. What we have on the left hand side is same as what we have on the right hand side. So the value of t is what? This right here. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up, drop your comments in the comment section, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Share with your friends and family. I hope to see you in the next one. It is bye for now.